Hello everybody, good evening, welcome back, we're gonna say, to the Nexus Gaming Series Season 7, Week 7. We've got, we're in the middle right now of Lurk Patrol versus Frank's Furters, and if you missed it, that last game on Cursed Hollow, quite a spicy draft setup there. We saw a little bit of TLV and a couple of global options there, the Dahaka Falstad, and quite an interesting finish up to that game. So we're actually going to go back and replay cast that game number 1 here once we're done with this set, because unfortunately I let them know a little bit too late that I was available. So that's okay though. Let's go ahead and let's show the maps here that we've got. So we've got the bands coming out from Lurk Patrol were Braxis and Volskaya Foundry. I think that's right. Should probably just double check that to make sure. Scroll back up here. Let's see. Yes, it was Volskaya and Braxis. And then Frank's Furters banning out Alterac and Sky Temple. So again, we just saw Cursed Hollow. That was the pick and win by Lurk Patrol. We're also going to see Tomb of the Spider Queen now, as selected by Lurk Patrol, as Frank's Furters electing to go with first pick. So where are these teams? You know what, why don't we take a look and see what the standings look like for these two. We've got Lurk Patrol right there at the top of the division of C West, number 2 behind Tickle Me Tassadar. Frank's Furters sitting at number 10 right now with 4 points. So looking to get some victories so that they can slide their way into that playoff spot right at the end of the season here. Sorry, just letting them know that I'm actually ready to go. I did tell them that, but they were too busy counting down from 60 because I told them 1 minute. But here we go. We're going to get right into Tomb of the Spider Queen for game number 2 between Lurk Patrol and Frank's Furters. Let's hop over to this draft and see what we got going on. And right away we're going to see Johanna banned out. Gotta take my notes. So Johanna and Anubarak getting banned out. So Johanna provides a lot of value on this map with quick rotations with that Condemn and Subdue. Anubarak, not quite as much, and he's definitely fallen out of the meta. Well, I don't want to say he's fallen out of the meta. He's still kind of in the meta, but he's not succeeding very well in the meta. He's got a fairly low win rate. Kael'thas, though, has a very high win rate. So, not a surprise to see him getting banned out, especially with the Johanna. And there goes Kira as well. And I imagine Kira on a map like this could probably cause a lot of chaos. Being a small map, she can get around fairly quickly. She's got fairly good mobility with her grappling hook and her revolving strike, I think it's called. See a little bit of spicy chat here about the Orphea, but we're going to see instead Dallying Pig picking up ETC, and ETC is one of the more valuable heroes in most divisions at this point. Might even be able to pull up the stats. You know what? Why don't we see if we can pick up the stats on this here. ETC. All right, does that work? Need to make it visible. There we go. So ETC, at least in C West, not quite as high of a win rate as I expected, sitting at 47%. We are going to see Diablo and Orphea, and on the opposite side here for Frank's Furters, Uther and Rexar. So I'm interested to see what they're planning with the Uther, because so far they don't have anything that goes particularly well with the Uther. So who are they looking at? Are they looking at the Greymane or Genji possibly? Again, Genji does get quick rotations, but not, I don't think that he's going to get as much value out of this map necessarily. So who are they going with? What kind of dive heroes are they planning to go with here? We're going to see the Anduin, which will help to pull people out of the potential problem. And the Maiev. So a dive, Diablo, and Maiev combo. I can see that making some work there. Got to get these up. And I would like to, you know what, I'm going to pop up these stats for Diablo, because I imagine Diablo in a lot of divisions has been... I didn't want... ETC. I wanted Diablo. Let's try that. There we go. Diablo has an even lower win rate, so there you go. So Falstad and Nazebo. So I really don't understand the Uther pick unless they want him to just be straight up, right up in the front. Falstad, again, this is Tomb of the Spider Queen, so this is a little bit smaller of a map. May see him go into the Seasoned Marksman for you know, the quick rotation stacks, or possibly even go into the Mage Stad. And final pickup is going to be Leoric for Lurk Patrol. See if I can get these heroes all put into their... Oh, they're switching people. Ektar switching on to that Anduin. Oh, Lurk Patrol picks Leo 85% of the time. Well, fair enough. It works. Orphea. Who am I missing? Radic. Radic's on Leoric. Alright, we're good there. Alright, let's just make sure that everybody's on the right heroes. Box Falstad, Indecisive Uther, Magic Master. Alright, so what I do expect to see here... Were there any other heroes I wanted to pop up? Let's see. Let's actually take a look at what Uther's stats look like here. See what Uther's got. Low pick rate, but a very high win rate. So we'll have to see how this turns out for these two teams. Pretty interesting comp, I think. But we do have the possibility of like a double soaking Nazebo. Getting those stacks. Kind of a late game setup. The Uther, I mean, there's not a lot of spread damage other than, like, the Orphea, and we'll see how this turns out. They don't have, like, the Lunara dots and the Gul'dan dots and all that stuff, so we'll see. But let's get our teams introduced here. On the left, we've got Lurk Patrol. Ektar gonna be on Anduin. Nate gonna be driving the Diablo. Radic on Leoric. Gunny on Orphea. And Maiev gonna be played by Ace. And for Frank's Furters, we've got Boggs on the Falstad, Dallying Pig on ETC, Magic Master on Nazebo, DJ Cold Cuts on Misha with her pet Rexar, and I missed somebody. Who did I miss? Indecisive on Uther, of course, and we're going to see the quick kill onto Maiev. Maiev going in deep, getting that Umbral Bind, but ultimately getting stunned. And there are a lot of stuns on the side of Frank's Furters. We've got the Power Slide from ETC, the Hammer of Justice from Uther, and of course, Misha's got her own little charge there to slow things down. And with all those stuns, don't forget we got a Nazebo who can also throw out zombie walls. So there's a lot of potential CC and zoning potential from these team, or at least the Frank's Furters here. On the other side, I mean, we've got the Leap of Faith, which can kind of help counter. Certainly the Chastise route. I'm not going to call all this stuff out. It's just skirmish stuff. Certainly the Umbral Bind tethers, and you know, Diablo's got his displacement here. Is that looks like they might be able to kill the bear. Misha, no. Just a little bit too late for that Power Slide, but we see in the bot lane, we've got Magic Master versus Leoric, and let's take a look. So we do have the Toad build coming out from Nazebo here, and the Holy Radiance for Uther, so kind of an interesting build. Haven't seen that in a while. We do see the Mage Stad, so again, not a big surprise there, allowing for Falstad to increase his damage as this game goes on. Got bold strategy, and we're seeing Q build out of the Orphea there, getting that Shadow Waltz and allowing her to deal additional damage when she hits people at the end of her Shadow Waltz. And of course, that also reduces the cooldown when you hit them, right? So it can do a pretty significant amount of damage, and actually that was the build that I tried out first at BlizzCon last year. It was a lot of fun being able to slap people with your sticky tendril, I guess, maybe? I don't know. And keep it going there. So we do have Lurk Patrol is on their camp already. They're going to get that Bruiser camp going in the mid lane. Neither team currently has enough gems for turn-in, although it looks like we've got Lurk Patrol turning a few in, and they are just slightly ahead in the total gem count. Dallying Pig going to come up here, keep Boggs safe with that knockback. And we heard the tether there, the Umbral Bind, but not quite getting it onto the target that she wanted. And Misha, very low there, is going to be able to make it out. They still have a camp here in the mid lane to clear out. And with that pressure, I'd like to see Lurk Patrol try to get these turned in while the camp is still going. There's not a whole lot of it left, so they don't have a lot of time. Diablo is the one with the most gems here, is basically coming down here to zone out the team. And we see Radic turning in the bot lane. So here come the Web Weavers. So successfully getting that Web Weaver. Oh, nice Umbral Bind with the Chastise to root Falstad there, but able to barrel roll away. And DJ Coldcut's going to head back. Awkwardly enough, I don't understand this. He hearthed, but Misha stayed there. She like teleported back. And Ektar noticing that as well. That was very awkward. But anyway, so we do see the Umbral Bind coming out. Misha taking the wave there, so she's gotten a little bit low, having to get that mend pet, and we've got Falstad in the mid lane here trying to clear this up. 4 versus 3, 4-man push up in the top lane, trying to get as much value out of this initial Web Weaver as they can. The Umbral Bind onto Uther, into the Web Weaver wave. Oh my goodness, and Indecisive making it out there with the assist from Dallying Pig. What a play. Uther was moments from death, but ultimately Lurk Patrol is going to secure this top fort. Nazeebo finishing up the Web Weaver in the bot lane, but about 75% of the fort already down. And we do have now Web Weavers are available. The turn is available for Frank's Furters. Let's check in. How's Nazeebo doing on those toad stacks? Sitting at 32, so very close to being able to finish that quest up here. Charge in onto the ETC. They do get the Chastise as well, but unable to secure the kill there against that wall. But with that, Maiev completing her level 1 quest. And it looks like Nazeebo had to go back. He was very low on health, so went back to fill things up. We do have a bit of a fight here in the middle as everybody but the Orpheus here, so this is a pretty aggressive fight if you're oh, the nice flip into Chastise and Magic Master going down. 20 gems, wow, picked up by Misha there. I didn't realize that was an interaction that would work, but there you go. 20-30 gems or so was transferred over to the Rexar. Falstad using flight to get away just barely. And that's now a couple of kills that Lurk Patrol has had within their grasp and just barely lost those out. DJ Coldcut's and able to get down into the bot lane and turn in the rest of the gems necessary to get the red Web Weavers going. And I've talked about this before. The only real challenge here is the question of, you know, now that Lurk Patrol's level 10, they kind of have the run of this, and they're going to be able to clear up the Web Weavers pretty much no problem. So the Web Weavers, I don't know, is it better to wait until you get to the level 10 so that you can actually, you know, push with them, or is it better to just pop them off, use them as a defensive mechanic at that point, and, you know, hope you don't die before then. We do have the light bomb coming out on Diablo. It's only going to hit Misha, though. Let's take a look at the rest of these talents. We've got the Eternal Feast, the Warden's Cage, so they're looking for that kind of big combo, especially with the APOC and Entomb, along with the light bomb. So a lot of ways for them to set up a big Eternal Feast, and just tons of CC in that too. So we'll see how that goes for them. Requires a little bit of execution, but they have a lot of potential options to set it up. So ultimately, level 10's now picked up for Frank's Furters. Again, the Web Weavers were able to be cleared, but we're going to see them rotating down here onto Leoric. Leoric pops that Wraithwalk, gets out of dodge. So we've got the Mosh Pit Divine Shield, so that may be the holy cow combo here, as Warden's Cage is coming out with the Eternal Feast. 4 members of Frank's Furters sitting in there, but ETC is gonna Mosh Pit right in the middle of the feast, and Uther's gonna be the first one to go down, followed up by Rexar, and ETC gonna be the next kill here shortly thereafter. And Hinterland Blast was picked up for Falstad. Rexar has the Bestial Wrath, and ultimately Nazeebo has not yet selected his ultimate. So Death Timer's fairly short. We see them rotating up toward the boss. It looks like they're going to try to turn in. Yeah, I was going to say, I think going for the boss might be a little bit aggressive at this point. I don't know that they have enough like sustained just damage to bring it down quickly, so they elect for the Web Weavers instead. Here we go. There's no Wraithwalk from Leoric, so this should be an easy kill for them. And it is. They do get that power slide to lock him down, but in response, Lurk Patrol coming in here to the mid fort, getting the pressure. It's already under half health. And power slide in onto Gunny is able to get the Leap of Faith out there. We've got Maiev deep into the back line there with the tether, but ultimately uses that Shadow of Vengeance to get out. And the Web Weavers pushing up in the top lane. Leoric back on the map. And so we've got Magic Master, Dallying Pig, and Boggs coming back here. Now, Boggs doesn't have a whole lot of health here, or I'm sorry, mana. And the Divine Shield used to keep DJ Cold Cuts alive, but it looks like Indecisive getting caught with the Umbral Bind is going to get pulled back in. Ace putting on a clinic with these tethers, pulling back anybody he wants. And as I say it, Misha going to be the next target to get pulled in. Top Web Weaver's down, mid Web Weaver's down, bottom Web Weaver about to go down. All of the walls are down, and they're calling for this mid keep. They want to finish the job on this. We do have the power slide into Gunny, though, with a knockback. They might be able to secure this kill, and they do. So no keep for them at this point. The Mosh Pit hits 2. Leoric and Maiev getting caught. And Radic should be able to go down here, so that's another kill. And Dallying Pig not quite ready to be done, but Diablo says no. Nate throwing him behind him. And now we're going to see Frank's Furters coming up for the boss. At least considering it. So we got the power slide, the charge, but the chastise as well. Locking down that ETC and keeping him from coming in. Now, Radic is going to be up soon here. He does have Entomb, and they've got Orphea coming back as well. So, oh, the stun coming out onto the Maiev. In comes Entomb and a Light Bomb and a Feast and a Warden's Cage. And people are just dying left and right. Magic Master going to be the next one to fall. Ace using that vault to stay alive. So much damage coming out there. And now Ace has to be very careful because one hit from this boss and he's toast. But with all 5 of their team up, this boss is a nice easy coast for them. They have 46 gems. Not quite enough to turn in for a boss and Web Weaver, but certainly enough to get pressure in that top lane. Or keep pressure, really, because they've already got the catapults going occasionally in this lane. And Lurk Patrol really showing why they're at the top of this division. They've done really well with their ultimates. They comboed the Entomb into the APOC, followed up by that Light Bomb. all the while the Eternal Feast going absolutely crazy on them. And here we go, boss on the top keep. Level 16 is available for Lurk Patrol. Misha's going to go down, so that's one stun that they no longer have to worry about. Leoric coming in with Wraithwalk. Doesn't have the damage reduction ability, but does have a 3-man Entomb into the Eternal Feast. And that's going to be Rexar and Nazebo going down. Orphea, however, falling to the structure damage, I think. And they're looking at the to get the kill onto Dowling Pig. He's going to power slide away, so he makes it out. The Uther, however, getting bounced all around by the tornado. Boss goes down, so no actual permanent core damage. They might be able to get the kill on Leoric, and they do, but here comes Maiev pulling them back into it in the 2-man apocalypse there. I think actually maybe even 3, although Divine Shield was used to keep Indecisive alive. A lot of action in these last few moments. Let's check in on Nazebo's stacks here. 95, so not really where they want him to be if he's looking for that Vile Infection at level 20. A little bit far away from getting that based on the current stacks. A lot of minion waves coming in though. And by the way, this Vision Camp is, or not Vision, but this Bruiser Camp completely visible to Lurk Patrol, so they know what's going on. Here comes Leoric. He's entirely by himself, though. I guess Ektar's nearby, so he can at least pull him out if he has to. And this is a very strong position for Lurk Patrol. They've got the Bruiser Camp giving them the 20 armor. The Web Weaver's coming very close in the top lane and the mid lane. And now they're just looking for a kill or two. Dallying Pig, though, looking for this big mosh, is not quite going to be able to get it. So waiting for some of those stun cooldowns. There goes the Eternal Feast. Looks like Indecisive in a bit of trouble here is going to go down, which is unfortunate with the fact that he had that Divine Shield. Dallying Pig still looking for the mosh, but ultimately going to get flipped around and may go down. But the core is looking like it's what's going down here in game number 2, going over to Lurk Patrol. And the GG's coming out. All right, so stats here, 13-6 on the kills. A little bit of a different overall setup than we had on the first game, where I think it was 10-6 or 6-10, 6 being Lurk Patrol, 10 being Frank's Furters. Let's go ahead and put this on the stats thing. And of course, they ultimately ended up winning that match because of the pressure that they created. But on this one, they did succeed in getting the additional kills, and it was all because of their combos. So let's see if we might be able to get a quick interview here. And again, since we missed game number 1, we're actually going to come back and do that as a replay cast here in a few minutes. I do have the... Looking for a lobby. I do have the replay file for that, so I can do it pretty quick.
Howdy, Aro.
Well, hello there, Gunny. Thanks for joining me tonight, and congratulations on your victory.
Thank you very much.
So, we're gonna kind of turn back time a little bit here because, of course, I'm doing your replay cast of game number 1 in a few minutes. I do have the replay file from Ace. So tell me a little bit about how your guys' matchup went and what you liked about game number 1.
Well, spoilers, we picked the Lost Vikings on Cursed Hollow. So that was a little bit of an interesting one for us. It's something that we've wanted to work on as maybe a spice pick for playoffs. So we gave that a try today. I think it needs a little bit more work, but it worked out in the end. Well,
and, I tried not to watch the game too much. I listened to it so that I had an idea. But from the sounds of what I recall at the end there, you guys ended up in a position where you had about half of the kills that Frank's Furters had, but of course you ended up winning the game. So what do you attribute to that?
Well, we were getting beat down by double macro. or sorry, not double macro, double global. And so they had, even though we had the Vikings, they had a better macro than we did. So we just needed to play to our late game comp with Ruinous Affliction and Echoed Corruption. So we just kind of played tough until we had the talents we wanted and pushed with what we needed. So that's really what it was about. We didn't get hardly any tributes early game. I don't think we got one until post 16.
Gotcha.
And then once we had what we needed to win the team fights, we won the team fights. Their ETC mosh pits with Uther D-Storm D-Shield was really tough for us to deal with. So that was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had to hang tight, make sure we weren't yielding too much advantage, and come back when we knew we could.
Sure. And then you go into game number 2 on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Some of the drafting on that one I was a little bit surprised by, just because of the map that it was. Your guys' comp, right out of the gate, I liked your comp. I could kind of see what you were going for as far as like the cage and the light bomb stun and, Entomb. Like everything was basically set up to just get heroes in one small area and then just let them die. And you guys performed that very well a couple of times. And I think that it also kind of helped that ETC put himself in a position to do that, because he wants to get into your face and you're like, come do that, right? And that's how it kind of worked out for you. So I wanted to point out that those combos were really on point. Leoric setting one of them up in the top lane with that Entomb, so props to Radic for that. And then Dallying Pig setting it up for you guys in the mid lane there on the first version of that.
Yeah, game 1 they definitely were able to use Mosh Pit very effectively at wiping us, so we wanted to find a composition that could turn that against them. And doing Orphan combos, which is again a hero they picked game 1, was able to effectively be a pseudo ban in that they didn't get Orphan and counteract what they wanted to do.
And was there anything about their team comp that they pulled up that you were concerned about with the team comp that you have, or that you maybe adjusted based on picks that they took?
Well, game 1, we played Vikings into double global, so that was a choice we made. But so we addressed that a little bit better. Game 2, we had considerably less mosh interrupts game 2, but we had better ways to deal with ETC as a hero outside of his ultimate. So we were just able to make sure that it didn't come down to the D-Shield mosh pit. And that was more of our strategy there.
Sure. Gotcha. And ultimately it worked. You guys had a very strong team comp that I don't think you guys lost a single structure. I don't know off the top of my head even how many of the walls you guys lost, if any. But the play was primarily on their half of the map, and there were a couple of plays. I do want to point out they had some really good saves. Dallying Pig saving Indecisive in the top lane there, like Uther so close to dead and surrounded by all of you guys, and then the Power Slide Face Melt, really providing that save. But ultimately, you guys just had it together in every single lane at all times, and I could just hear. It was almost like I could hear your comms, maybe because I did from the prior game, but calling out the cooldowns and the timing of what you guys were looking to do.
Yep. I am really proud of the macro that this team does, especially on maps like Tomb. So it really shows, I think, how much more refined we are on a map like that. So.
Yep, and listening to you guys in game 1, hearing things like even something as simple as the calls for the Zarya shields, right? Shield yourself, okay, shield me. Hearing little things like that to keep communication going. Like, I can't ask you how your communication is because I listened to it. So, I already know.
Ace is a great shot caller. He's really good at synchronizing our cooldowns so that we are the most effective when we are at the engage point. And big props to him for doing that.
Sure. Well, good deal. So I don't want to take... Hold on, I gotta read what this says. Okay. Ektar just saying he wants to be a Vikings one trick, but he's a true healer slave.
Ektar's the best healer.
Fair enough.
Hands down.
So, I don't want to take too long here so that we can hop right into the replay cast of game number 1. So, which I will set it up so that, you know, the other one will read as part 1 and this one will read as part 2 so that it goes in order. But before we go, any shout outs that you want to make out for those people out in Twitch land?
Well, I absolutely always shout out every member of Lurk Patrol. We were able to play everybody but Bickle tonight, which is an impressive feat for a team of 8. So I'm really proud of everyone. We've put in a lot of work this season. I'm hoping we finish strong and take it into a strong playoff seat. And shout out to Frank's Furters. They played a really good match.
Good deal. Yeah, and you guys sitting, I think you guys are still number 2, even with the 3 points out of this. I think Tickle Me Tastar is ahead by 1 point still.
Yeah, they've played one more
close.
match than we have.
Oh, well, there you go. Nice and easy. Well, don't forget to report your game and, of course, schedule your Flex Masters if you haven't done that.
Our matches are all scheduled
guys,
for the season, RL.
You guys
so no
are
worries
good.
here.
Yeah, that's right. You're in my division. I just realized that because there's... Well, I didn't just realize you're in my division, but I just realized that you guys have them scheduled because C West is actually looking pretty good with Flex matches. So there you go. Anybody else out in Twitch land, if you guys haven't scheduled your Flex matches, go do that. But
RL will haunt you.
Patrol is great. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, thank you very much for joining me here, Gunny. I appreciate it. And sorry I missed you guys just by a couple minutes there at the beginning of the game, but we'll get you this time.
It's all good. Thanks for picking up the stream, man. I really appreciate the work you guys do.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
You too.
All right, so I'm gonna say this is the end of the cast because if you're watching this later on the replay, you're going to see Lurk Patrol 2 points, Frank's Furters 0 points out of this. And so I'm going to go to a quick scene cut, I guess, with the end. And then I'm going to come back in just a minute and we'll load up game number 1 between Lurk Patrol and Frank's Furters so that we can do that half. So we're just doing everything backwards here. But we'll be back in just a minute as I get this set up.